In a small Nigerian community called Oduama, life was simple. People worked hard, children played along the dusty roads, motorcycles moved through the streets, and small shops opened every morning. Among them was David, a hard-working 24-year-old who lived with his mother. David had never been in trouble with the law. But one afternoon, while returning home, two police officers suddenly stopped him. "Are you David?" "Yes, officer." "You are under arrest for theft." David was shocked. "Officer, I didn't steal anything." But the officers refused to listen. They accused him of stealing money from a local businessman and took him away. His mother ran outside, crying as the police vehicle disappeared. David kept shouting through the window, "Mummy, I am innocent." David was taken to Blackstone Detention Centre. The moment he entered, fear took over. The building was old, the walls were stained, the corridors were dark, and the cells were overcrowded. Some prisoners looked angry, others looked sick, hungry, and exhausted. Some simply sat quietly, staring at the floor. David's belongings were taken from him, and he was pushed into a crowded cell. The metal door slammed shut. Clang! An older prisoner looked at him. "First time?" David nodded. "Keep your head down." Later, food arrived. Before David could finish eating, another prisoner demanded his food. David refused, and tension immediately filled the cell. The older prisoner stepped between them and stopped the situation. David thanked him. Then he looked around. He realized many of the prisoners weren't the monsters he had imagined. One man was sick. Another quietly held a photograph of his children. Some looked like ordinary people who had simply lost their way. That night, David couldn't sleep. People coughed. Someone cried. Another whispered a prayer. David stared at the ceiling, thinking about his mother. Morning came. David believed he would be released. He approached an officer. "Sir, I'm innocent. When will I see the investigator?" The officer replied coldly, "Wait." Hours passed. Eventually, David was taken for interrogation. He repeatedly explained that he didn't steal anything. "Please check the CCTV. You'll see I wasn't there." But nobody listened. David returned to his cell, frustrated and hopeless. The older prisoner sat beside him. "Don't let this place convince you that you're guilty." David lowered his head. "I just want to go home." That night, the prisoners quietly sang a hymn together. For a moment, the cell felt peaceful. Then suddenly, bang! Officers entered for an inspection. Everyone was ordered to stand. Their few belongings were searched. An elderly prisoner dropped a photograph of his family. David picked it up and handed it back. The man silently thanked him. By the next morning, David had spent almost 2 days inside Blackstone. He was exhausted and had almost lost hope. Then an officer called his name. "David, come with me." He was taken to the investigator's office. The investigator looked at him. "We checked the CCTV." David remained silent. "You weren't at the scene when the theft happened." Then came the words David had been waiting to hear. "You're free." David could barely believe it. His belongings were returned, and he walked toward the same metal gate that had terrified him 2 days earlier. The gate opened. Sunlight hit his face. For a moment, David simply stood there. He could hear motorcycles, cars, children laughing, and people talking. It was ordinary life, but to him, it sounded beautiful. When David reached home, his mother ran toward him. They embraced. She cried. David held her tightly. That evening, he sat outside their house and watched the community, the dusty roads, the children playing, the small shops. Everything looked different. He remembered the prisoners he had left behind. The sick man, the elderly prisoner, and the young man holding his children's photograph. David had spent only 2 days behind those walls, but those 2 days taught him something he would never forget. You don't understand the value of freedom until it is taken away from you. The end. Such.